Hi guys, welcome to Year 7 court dancing. So this is the first lesson in the unit. So before we start, just get a pen and some paper for this lesson. So you can pause the video at any time to make some notes if I ask a question, or if you just want to make any general notes about what I've said. Okay, let's start. Okay then guys, so starting off with, what have we previously learnt? So we should all know this, so writing it down, pausing the video, writing down a few notes of what we've already learnt. So then, what are we learning now? So what we're learning now is court dancing and ballet technique, so you'll see how the two overlap throughout the unit. And then what we'll be learning in the future, characterisation in dance, so this is something you'll also see develop through the unit. So why are we doing this? Ballet technique underpins all dance and body conditioning that we learn. So ballet technique is really important. It's an important foundation for any other dancing that we learn. Court dance is a style that is used by choreographer Christopher Bruce. So Christopher Bruce is studied in GCSE and A level. So any of you that are thinking of moving on to GCSE and A level, this will be really good for you to introduce you to this area. So how will this broaden my learning? Court dancing is an important aspect of social interaction throughout Britain's history. Okay, so it's a really important part in history where they used social dance and social interaction. So you'll see throughout the unit how this relates to history. Ballet originated in the 15th century Italy during the Renaissance period. It was influenced on us in Britain, is still very much seen today. Okay, so that sentence didn't really work. Its influence on us in Britain is still very much seen today, yes. So everything that we learn now in ballet has been carried on from this century. So you'll see we have developments, but everything is based on the same technique that began in 15th century. Yeah, so one of the answers to that first question is discovering new environments, so that's what we did last unit, so if you got that, well done. Okay, so just a little bit of context and description of what I see ballet as. Ballet is a style of dance that originated during the Italian Renaissance in the 15th century, so that's what we said in the last slide. So it's been carried through history. It is now performed worldwide as a highly technical form of dance. So you'll see that ballet dancers have to learn ballet from a very young age up until now, so it really is highly technical and takes a lot of work. It uses its own independent vocabulary based on French terminology. So as we go through, you'll see a few words that you might not recognise, or you might recognise them from your French lessons. So ballet uses French terminology as to describe the movements that are used. So just a quick fun fact for everybody. So in the 1616s, men were the first professional dancers. So if you already knew that, that's really great. I just want you to have a think about now, so write some notes, pause the video, write some notes. How may this contrast to 21st century dance? So thinking about how dance is now in society and as a historical element, how it might have changed from then to now. So extra challenge time now then. So this is for an achievement point. So what are our hips doing in this first position of the feet? Okay, so looking at these images, trying to figure out what might our hips be doing in this image. So if you can get this, it's a really ballet specific question. Okay, so it'd be really good if you do this. So just pausing the video, writing some notes and what you think the answer to this is. So another question here to have a think about. Can anybody name the positions of the arms? Okay, so I'm going to give you the answers now, so just pause the video and just write some answers, and then I'll give you the answers to those. So just pause the video for a minute. Just write down what you think the positions of the arms are in these photos. Okay, so the first one is first position, the top one second position, fourth position, fifth position and third position. So if you've got any of those right, well done, because they're quite difficult. These are really specific to ballet. Okay, so we're focusing on just a little bit of ballet technique to get some context of court dancing. Well done, guys. Let's move on. So let's go through the basic features of court dancing. So these first two features, the bow and the curtsy, I just want you to have a think about now, so writing some notes again. When might somebody use these actions outside of dance? Okay, I'll just give you a few minutes you can pause the video and write some notes of this. Okay, so going through the other basic features of court dancing now then. So we've got circular pathways, we've got hand-to-hand contact, strong musicality, unison, turns and plie. So plie basically just means to bend. So that's that French terminology coming out again. Okay, moving on. Now, using the link provided on the screen, watch a clip of dancers demonstrating the Renaissance court dance. Okay, so this clip is just of a reenactment of the Renaissance, it's not the real Renaissance. Okay, so just using this clip on the board, just type this into your web searcher and then that clip should come up for you. And then what I want you to think about whilst you're watching this clip is what are the basic court dance features that you notice. So watching this clip and picking out the basic court dance features that we've just talked about. Okay, so obviously pause this video and go out separately and watch this video and then come back. Okay guys, so moving on to the main task now. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt a GCSE exam question. Okay, so some of you may have done this just before Christmas, so describe a moment in the video using action, space and dynamics. Okay, so remembering that there's three marks to this question, 1 mark for actions, 1 mark for space and 1 mark for dynamics. Okay, so we'll just start by going through an example answer that I've created. So the male and the female dancer travelled in a circular pathway, their hands touched softly as they turned slowly in a clockwise direction. Okay, so just pause the video and make some notes on where you've noticed action, space and dynamics in my answer. Okay, so write down the actions you think I've used, the spatial elements and the dynamics you think I've used. Okay, so the actions that I've used are travelled and turned. The spatial elements that I've used is circular pathway and clockwise direction, and the dynamics are softly and slowly. So you can see that I've used 2 for each. So as a minimum, I want you guys to use 2 actions, 2 space, 2 dynamics in your descriptions, okay? So writing those descriptions using action, space, dynamics from a moment in the clip, that it may be a moment that you enjoyed the most, or maybe you wrote down more basic features of that specific moment. Well, that moves us on to the extra challenge. So the first extra challenge is use 2 of the basic features of court dance in your description. So from what you've written down in your notes from watching the clip, you should have written down some basic features that you notice of court dance. So as an extra challenge, including those in your description. So I've just used the basic actions of just normal dance, travelled and turn, but for my spatial elements I used circular pathway, which was one of the basic features of court dance. Okay, so you can see how you can easily incorporate those into your answer. as a second extra challenge, I want you to use one relationship in your description. So there is one part of my answer that we haven't mentioned yet, which is in blue. It's hands touch. So this is a form of contact, which is a form of a relationship element. Okay, so using one relationship element. So this could be unison, canon. It could be contact. Okay, so as an extra challenge, just incorporating that into your answer. So about 10 minutes to give this a go, and attempting that extra challenge if you can. Off you go. Okay guys, so just pause the video here if you are not ready to move on to the plenary yet. So if you're still answering the question or you forgot to pause it originally, so just carrying on with that question if you need more time. But for everybody else, so the plenary we're going to do today is just recapping what the 8 basic features of court dancing are. So we've got the 2 that aren't on here, which were the first 2 that we looked at. So first of all, writing down what we think those ones were, and then unpicking these little images that I've given as a reminder to think of what those other 6 actions may be. So writing these down in your notes, trying not to look at your previous notes, which I know some of you like to cheat and do that, but trying to just quiz yourself and work independently to remember those. Okay,